All right, guys, today I have a mashup of a bunch of different people on TikTok and everywhere else regretting their purchases of owning an EV. And I haven't seen these. I'm just going to react and sort of respond to them. There were other people that have done similar videos, but they were all very negative about EVs because it seems to be a trend that'll get them more clicks. But here we are trying to punch back against the disinformation out there like that. So thank you to everyone that sent these in to me. If you'd like to be one of those people, a FUD fighter, as I call them, or as I call you guys, you can check out my link at bensullins.com/FUD. It's just a form. If you find any of this stuff out there, send it my way and me and my team will check it out. And maybe you'll be one of the people contributing to clearing up the air about misinformation around electric cars and sustainable tech. All right, let's go.
This is a PSA for anybody considering getting an electric vehicle. Don't. Just don't. That's all I can say. Dumbest shit I've ever done.
I think she's in a Mercedes right now. I assume she's in a Mercedes because I don't think this is a Tesla unless it's an old Model S or X.
Worst decision I've ever made. Pay $1,500 a month for a car that I can't drive because I'm never fucking charged.
$1,500 per month? Girl, if you have that kind of problem, then you shouldn't have to go to a public charger. I mean, get your priorities right, please.
Because this is modern day Hunger Games. This is Hunger Games. You have to wait for 2 hours to get a charge. People are quite literally fighting at chargers. They're always broken. The infrastructure for these cars is non-existent.
Okay, she must not have a Tesla here because obviously that would be different. And again, if you're spending $1,500 a month to buy a Mercedes, you're definitely trying to punch above your weight class here. Otherwise, you would have a place to charge at home. I think clearly having a place to charge at home is a huge advantage. It's one of the main reasons to buy an EV. Also, if it's convenient for you, if you're at your gym or your grocery store, movie theater, wherever you go, or your work, totally makes life easy. But definitely public charging could be a real pain if it's something you have to rely on.
I would rather pay $200 for a tank of gas than to ever have to waste my time doing what I'm doing right now.
Okay, fair enough. You can choose to spend your money how you want, although it doesn't seem like you're spending it wisely if I were to opine on such a matter in your life based on, the situation here. You shouldn't be in this situation to begin with, but that's my opinion.
I want to file a class action. I think we should all get together and sue these motherfuckers. I'm suing everybody.
Suing everybody. Okay, definitely America.
Everybody. Electrify America, ChargePoint, Mercedes, Elon, just because he's weird. All you guys, give me gas. Let's go back to the normal times. Don't get an electric vehicle.
Yeah, I get it. It can be a real pain in the butt if you have to rely on public charging, which is why absolutely before you get an EV, you should figure that out. Where can you charge? What's the situation going to be like? Because otherwise, yeah, it can kind of suck. And so especially it sounds like her situation not being in a Tesla. And I get why all the other people that were doing these regretting my EV videos put her in there because, obviously she has a lot of followers and gets a lot of attention. So I don't really think she had any valid points other than do your homework.
And here's why you should never, ever, ever own a stupid Tesla, because charging stations, a rush hour, they get full, and then you gotta wait a half hour, 45 minutes, sometimes an hour to get a spot to charge your stupid electric car. And then when it's hot, you got to run the AC when you're sitting in this turd, and it takes twice as long to charge. So yeah, Tesla, you suck. Worst car ever. The worst possible car in the history of mankind. There you have it. I got to go waste my life in this car and wait another 15, 20 minutes for this stupid thing to charge. I hate it. I hate this car.
Well, his opinion is valid. I'm sure it's, again, one of those situations where please do your homework before you get into a situation where you're relying on public charging. I mean, he even has a Tesla, which charges usually fairly quickly, and at the Tesla superchargers extremely reliably. And I can say that as someone that's lived in multiple countries all over the world. Tesla network is by far the best from my experience. I understand the frustration here, but, there's better ways to solve this problem. Now, I've reviewed a lot of cool tech on this channel, from hydro panels to cooling mattresses. And today, this is one of the coolest pieces of tech. It's an AI robot lawnmower. And like all good robots, they're made for a specific task, so they can be the most effective at it. This one kind of reminds me of a robot vacuum, but for your yard, and it's pretty unique. This is the Sunseeker X3 Plus. It's a robotic lawnmower that makes keeping your grass perfectly trimmed at all times exactly zero extra work for you. Now, I've seen these before, but what's cool about this one is that once you plug it into the base and you get it charged up, you set up the boundaries all through the app and you hit go, and sit back and relax. This has a vision AI system, and it can detect over 200 different types of obstacles, from toys and tools to pets or even a book. Now, if you have something that you particularly is difficult in your yard and you need to set up a boundary or something like that, you can actually tell it exactly where to go and where not to go. And when it actually goes over one of these barriers or something, the blades will adjust the height so they don't cause any damage, and they just keeps on going, doing its thing. Now, this model has some pretty advanced GPS systems that track exactly where it goes, so it knows if it missed a spot and maybe if it needs to recharge in between rounds or something like that, it'll come pick right back up where it left off. And the thing that I wondered when I first saw this was, where does the grass go? Well, it turns out that if you're going to run it regularly, which is what they recommend, it only cuts a tiny bit of grass. It kind of acts as mulch, keeping it healthy and full of nutrients for the other grass that's still growing. And one thing that you might be wondering about is, what if it rains? Well, the Sunseeker X3 Plus has a rain detector, and it'll actually head back over to its charging base and wait for the rain to stop and then pick up right where it left off. Now, the floating cut system adjusts to bumpy terrain. So whether your lawn is flat, hilly, or has weird dips and edges, you still get a clean, consistent cut no matter what. And did I mention it's quiet? At just under 60 decibels, you're going to hear the birds before you hear the mower. Now, this is controlled by an app, so you can use the app to fully tell it what to do, or you can use a smart speaker like the Amazon one, Google one, or Apple one. You just ask it, we'll say hello to whatever one you use, and say mow the lawn, and it goes and does its thing. It's kind of like this sci-fi future thing where you just have your AIs doing your bidding and all that, but in a real kind of organic way that results in more real experiences with your family and friends out on your lawn. So I love that it's taking this really smart digital stuff and turning it into something physical and real that you can enjoy. Bottom line though, the Sunseeker X3 Plus is smarter, quieter, cleaner, and cooler than any mower you've ever used before. So check the link in the description or on the screen now and get your lawn back on track, all while saving time and headaches that regular push mower might be giving you. All right, now back to the story.
Dude, I think I'm going to sell my Tesla.
Bonus points for pronouncing it with the Z sound like I do.
Moved back to LA, and I was so scared of getting into a car accident. I was like, I just want a self-driving car. Once the technology is all good, I'm just going to use it. I'm investing in my safety and my future, and I don't want to leave anything to human error. But no, I'm going to die, mofos, because Elon Musk is freaking crazy and erratic, and I don't trust this piece of software. This is not a car. This is a piece of software. Like, the wheels and crap, everything is fine. You can replace your wheels, but you're paying. Now my life is determined on every software update, whether there's some bug in it that someone didn't carefully check because Elon Musk is just in a rush and being stupid and erratic. Every time the software updates, you have to relearn where all the buttons are on this touchscreen, so it just feels like I'm playing with the touchscreen every single time I drive and I come home to California. I'm like, oh my gosh, where's the temperature control now?
All right, I think some valid concerns here. Totally, Tesla oversold this idea that the car was going to drive itself and you just never have to worry about it. Anyone that really uses it knows that you still have to monitor it and control it. I think it's really good in certain situations, like, just cruising down the freeway. So, but I get that she was maybe sold something that is not reality. And that is a big problem, I think, with Tesla right now. But the thing about the software updates changing the buttons, me and a lot of my friends that are, sort of the OG Tesla owners all would talk about this, how there was like some 20-year-old kid making things look pretty on a screen, not even having a car itself and knowing what it's like. And to me, I think there's an extreme value in the reliability of the controls. So where are the climate controls? Where's the music control? All those kind of things. So I absolutely agree. When they move those things around, even Rivian does this. I mean, it's a problem because then you're hunting for it while you're driving, putting yourself into a dangerous situation. Like, can we at least slow down on modifying those really critical controls, because people get used to them, and being used to it and knowing where it's at is better than, and it's safer than having it look prettier, which I think is always what Tesla seems to prioritize in their software. And to me, that drives me absolutely nuts. So completely agree with her grievances here. I think she's totally right on both of those points.
We had a young kid that loved the car, bought it, drove home to another state, called us the next day and had buyer's remorse. And in the car business, you buy a car, you drive it away, deal's done. So I'm going to call him to just figure this thing out.
This doesn't sound good to me. I mean, yeah, Tesla specifically is so hyped in the media, and young kids, I mean, like by kids, I mean like kids in their 20s. think that like, oh, it's just going to be perfect in every way, because there's a lot of people out there that are really pumping the stock, lying about their experiences, just sugarcoating it. I mean, look at all the robotaxi stuff, guys like getting left in the middle of the intersection or getting into accidents and just like glossing it over. I mean, it's not okay, you know? And so I completely understand how, I don't know where this is going, but I assume this kid feels sort of buyer's remorse because he was sold something and the reality was far different than that. And I really hate that. I think that's why I've been one of the people that's been sort of a more of a realist about these cars and what they offer and what they do, which of course is extremely unpopular with those that have significant holdings in the stock, because to them, any negative press about Tesla equals them losing money in their portfolio. And of course they don't want that, which I don't have any and never have had any stake or interest in Tesla stock at all. So I feel more, freely I can talk about things because I don't owe them anything. So yeah, it's one of those weird situations. The person was sold one thing and then delivered something else, and that sucks. I feel bad for him.
Your dad's called in. I figured I'd take a turn and work something out, man. I don't want you to feel like we're not taking care of you, but I also want to make sure that we're being treated fairly. I don't think you need to be in a bad spot. I don't think we need to be in a bad spot. Did you just like, oh crap, I shouldn't have bought an electric car?
The car is great. I love the car. There's nothing wrong with it except for the charging. It's a deal breaker for me, honestly.
There you go. Charging. I mean, people have to figure this out. I mean, if anything for me, watching these is good because it tells me like maybe what I need to create more content around, because people need to know about this stuff. They need to know that charging your EV can be a challenge depending on your situation. And so how do you solve that? I mean, there are actually totally valid ways to do it. But if you just went into it thinking it'll be great, like he said, the car is great, and then the reality of, oh crap, what do I do now? Yeah, I could understand how that could be a real letdown.
I don't have my own home. I live in an apartment, so there's no way to charge at my house. My parents don't want to put one because they don't have any electric vehicles, and then I don't want to stop every hour and a half and charge my car for 30 minutes when I could just fill it up in 10 and get triple the range.
Don't know what he's talking about. If he's talking about on road trips, I mean, road trips, I would say, especially with the Tesla, just marginally more or less convenient than gas cars. I mean, you're going to need to pee and all that well before you're going to have to actually charge up in many cases. So I don't know what he's talking about there, if he's just talking about on a regular case. And as far as his parents not installing a charger, I mean, they obviously already have electricity at their home and you can just plug into a regular outlet. It may not be perfect, but it does work. And also if they have a dryer or any other high powered outlets, which they probably already have, then you can just use those. There's all kinds of adapters and ways to get around this. I think he, one day in is just freaking out, maybe needs to do a little bit more research. But again, probably got himself into a situation because he didn't do his research beforehand, and maybe the people he followed were just totally hyping up, glossing over the issues because they were, key stockholders essentially.
That stuff was true before you owned a car. Those are all facts, whether you owned a car or not. So I'm just trying to understand how we got there after you bought it.
I've driven a gas car my whole life on the highway. Gas cars get better mileage for the most part. And so I was under that same impression. It was the complete opposite for me,
Yeah, I've been driving an EV every day for the last 7 years. It does take longer to charge than it does to fill up with gas, no question about it. But I save so much money on gas, it's worth it to me.
I probably would get pretty used to it if I kept the car, but I just don't think I'm willing to make that conversion at this point in my life. I will admit I didn't fully understand what I was getting into.
I want to try and work something out specific that can work for you and for us.
I don't want to feel like I have to buy a car from you guys. I don't want to feel like obligated.
I mean, he already bought the car. So this was a conversation you should have had before.
You do have to buy a car from us. I'm not just going to take the car back, dude, and say, sorry, Andrew, you're 19, you made a mistake.
He's 19 and bought it. I mean, come on, dude. He should know better, I feel like. I mean, kids, those nowadays, I mean, I don't know. They're so savvy and so all over the internet. Maybe it's the algorithm's fault, just kind of pumping him with this echo chamber of stock pushers, just, overlooking all the challenges of owning an electric car when you're 19 and live in an apartment. I mean, sad, but these algorithms do kind of push us to believe things that are not true because they're so reinforced. It's like a little tiny lie or a little tiny fib leads us down a rabbit hole, and next thing you know, we believe the earth is flat or something.
Wish you the best. You're going to ask me to lose thousands of dollars because you didn't do your homework? That's not fair to us. You need to take some responsibility here. You don't just get to return a car after driving it however many miles and days and changing your mind, getting cold feet. That's not how it works. That's not how the law works. That's not how business works. And that's not fair to us. We don't have to do anything.
I don't disagree with him. I feel bad for the kid. I do know, as someone that's owned EVs for a long time now, that he can find a way around it. And like he even said, he loves the car and he can, he's not ready to make that transition. It's sort of like, yeah, he's cold feet after the fact. I mean, you already you already ate the apple, bro. Like, you're there. So, just live with it. You'll figure it out. No pasa nada.
Buy electric cars. They are not worth it. They are such a trap. They are just money pits, right? The fact that I already bought my car and now when I'm trying to sell it, it's 15 grand less than what I paid for like a year ago. I mean, that happens, whatever, it is what it is, right? But there isn't the infrastructure. There's no infrastructure for electric cars, right? You try and find a charger, guess what? It's broken. Your car starts bleeping, your car's gonna die. What are you gonna do? What are you going to do? Because there's no chargers around. Then you have to download this app. Then you have to download that app. Like, when I first got an electric car, I can't lie, I done it because I wanted to save the planet. Because I was a bit of a fucking eco princess. But now, I'm just like, man, it. Like, do you know how many panic attacks I've had because I've broken down on the motorway? Because my car should get me to a destination and it just doesn't. Like, it is so much more expensive than having a petrol car. Because you do not get the miles that you need. Like, it's not mile for mile. Like, I had somewhere to go. I charged my car Friday night. I came back, it just stopped charging. Just on its own. I called the guy and he's like, well, no, that's not supposed to happen. Okay, but it did. So they can't magically make my car charge. So now I have to wait 8 hours for my car to charge. Like, it's actually fucking ridiculous. 8 fucking hours until I can, and I'm going 120 miles. And my car still won't do it, even though the car will tell me it has 200 miles. Like, I just can't. I cannot stand having an electric car, but I can't sell it because I'm literally going to have lost 15 grand. So it's now my forever car, and it's just going to keep depleting and keep getting worse.
Yeah, I get her frustration. Again, is one of those situations where it looks like she doesn't have a place to charge at home and hadn't figured out where she's going to charge on a regular basis, because that's a bummer. And 200 miles, it sounds like she's in the UK because she's using miles and has a British accent. So so if you're watching this and you're from the US, it may be sort of confusing. 200 miles there is actually quite a bit, right? That's like a long distance EV. In the US, that's sort of unacceptable, right? We wouldn't even consider that. We wouldn't even consider buying that unless it was dirt cheap. So the depreciation, $15K. I don't know what she paid initially, but I mean, that actually doesn't sound bad depending on what it was. Charging seems to be the theme, and absolutely you got to figure that out before you get your EV if you don't have a place to charge at home. But it is something you absolutely need to think about before you get an EV if you're in a situation like her. So I feel bad for her. Hopefully she can sort that out because that's a bummer.
So PSA to all new EV owners, or if you're thinking about buying an EV, please do your research on your specific car or just EV charging in general.
There we go. Exactly.
Now, I know the creator's video that I stitched wasn't specifically talking about charging in particular. It's kind of just a myriad of things with his EV. But a lot of people jump into the EV lifestyle and they're not ready for it. And I was one of those people. I bought an EV not knowing how to charge, where to charge, or anything really related to it. I saw a few chargers on my way home from work and figured I would just charge there. But it's a massive learning curve as far as understanding where you're going to charge, how you're going to charge.
I don't know if I would say massive learning curve. I would say it's more of a shock, because if you're just used to driving a gas car your whole life, you don't even ever think about, okay, where is there a gas station near my house or near my work or whatever. They're sort of ubiquitous, right? They're sort of everywhere. I wouldn't say it's a massive learning curve. It's more just like, oh, wait a minute, I have to think about this thing that I've never had to think about before. And that can cause us pain because we don't like to use our thinking brain. We just like to use the fast brain. And so, yeah, I understand totally where these guys are coming from. And so I like this guy's message, like, hey, think about this before you do it.
I could go much deeper in depth as far as the research that you need to do. So if you guys want that, please let me know. I can make a whole video about charging. But as from someone who relies on public charging only, it's a learning curve, and that it's going to take a lot of understanding and patience, especially with public charging. Now, if you have somewhere to charge at home at night, you're good to go. And the charging aspect of an EV is probably going to fit perfect with your lifestyle.
Yeah, I absolutely agree again with him. You know, kind of a theme here with these videos. And I haven't watched these before, so I didn't know that they all were basically going to be complaining about the same thing. But certainly, I mean, if you don't have a place to charge at home, maybe reconsider or do a little bit of research and see if it's going to work.
5 reasons why you shouldn't buy an electric car. Number 1, sometimes it can be really hard to find a place to charge it.
Here we are again, same story.
Especially if you're not a Tesla owner. Driving around, looking. Some of them are broken, some of them are slow, some of them are full. That can be a problem.
Well, and also now in the US, you know, Tesla's network is open to basically everybody. In Europe here, it's, you know, already have been open to everybody since day one. So I don't think it's as big of an issue now as it previously was. But yeah, certainly.
Number 2, you've got less cars to choose from. Electric vehicles, there's only so many. There's more and more coming out. There aren't quite the same selection as gas cars.
I think last year in the US there were about 112 new models. So, now there's a lot of choice, I would say. And then over here in Europe, gobs and gobs of choices. Over in Asia, yeah. So I think everyone, as the years progress here, I've been covering EVs for a long time. It's one of those things where, there's plenty of choices depending. In fact, the good news about that is then there's used options for whatever type of EV somebody wants.
Number 3, charging times. Pulling up, getting a tank of gas real quick and getting out of there. A lot faster sometimes than waiting for a charge. Although that technology is getting better and faster, it's still a lot slower than filling up a gas car.
Yeah, absolutely. One crazy thing about this is BYD and CATL, the 2 battery makers, one of them makes cars as well. They just released or demoed, like actually showed working versions of chargers that can get you like almost 80% in 5 minutes. So we're getting there very quickly. I think it'll be funny, as we progress down this path in a few years, look back and go, yeah, what were people talking about? I mean, this is actually good to see just because I get to see the common complaints because, what I hear is a lot of this climate change arguments where people are trying to bash EVs because whatever things they didn't know about EVs or they thought they were created with fairy dust or whatever. But it's good to see this because this is a real world concern. And thankfully, as this guy mentioned here in this video, it is getting a lot better. And hopefully in the years to come, it'll be just not even a problem to think about.
Number 4, they need specialized maintenance. You can't just roll the car into your garage and take the battery out. The flip side of that is they don't need much maintenance. But if you're a grease monkey, if you're a wrench, you're somebody that likes to really fix their own car, not much of an option there for you.
Yeah, agreed. This is actually one of the most valid complaints. One of the complaints I've had about EVs in the US for a long time. Tesla, of course, specifically, and then Rivian now as well, Lucid, all these guys. They don't embrace third-party repair shops. And to me, that's a huge miss. And we're not just talking battery stuff. We're talking like anything, right? So if you want to buy the 12-volt battery for the car, if you need windshield wipers, like the Model X windshield wipers, for example, I had a friend that lives in a snowy place and he was just driving one day and the windshield wiper flew off. The only people that will get it, that can sell it to you, are Tesla themselves. And he called and tried to just come down there. I mean, it takes 2 minutes to replace a windshield wiper. But no, it was going to be a 2-week appointment. So he had to wait 2 weeks. He couldn't drive this car because it's snowing and crazy. And I'm like, that is just ludicrous. I think that's a completely valid concern. And one, I think, like Rich Rebuilds or Car Guru, as we used to know him, has helped immensely with that, sharing information about how to repair these things, because I think that's totally lame. I agree.
Number 5, road trips. Not very convenient. More stops, longer stops. If you don't have access to the supercharger Tesla network, it takes a while. But overall, obviously, I think the pros easily outweigh the cons.
Agreed. Road trips, I don't find to be much more inconvenient unless you have an issue and you can't use the Tesla network. With the Tesla network, no pasa nada. It's just as easy as it can be. Easy as it can be. I mean, you'll stop maybe one extra time. Overall, you'll spend maybe an extra 15, 20 minutes, depending on how far you go. And I go on like 1,000-mile road trips. So I don't know. It depends. If you give the right EV and the right network and the route, it's no problem at all. But other times, yeah, I could understand how it could be a challenge for sure. So valid concern, something to think about. But I think most people really over-index how often they go on road trips because it's very seldom for most people in the U.S.
There used to be 2 reasons that I wouldn't buy an electric car. Now I have 3. First one, cost. They're expensive. And you mean to tell me that these politicians aren't lining their pocketbooks with this money? Okay.
Okay. I don't know what she's talking about there. You can get a lot into how politicians line their pocketbooks, but I don't think pushing EVs is one of them. This might be an old video because certainly the current administration, oh, whoops, I can't say that. YouTube will ban me. The current politicians are not lining their pocketbooks with EVs. So I don't know what she's talking about.
Second reason, batteries. When these batteries in these cars go bad, where are you going to put them?
We're going to put them to use. That's where we're going to put them. There's lots of cases of this. There's a football stadium in the Netherlands that's actually using used Nissan Leaf batteries to charge them. You have Redwood Materials out in California that is already processing, I think, like 1.6 billion cell phones worth of batteries. I mean, if you think about the world of batteries, like people like to think of EVs as the only thing that uses batteries in the world. And this is the big misconception, of course, because the thing she's recording this on has the same basic battery inside of it that is inside of the car she's complaining about. So I think she's completely misguided. It's one of those things, the Dunning-Kruger effect, right? When you don't know anything about a subject, you're ultimately like 100% confident that whatever your opinion is right, she's at that point before she drops into the like, oh, I knew absolutely nothing about this. And then she was spouting this off on the internet to, look at that, 2,400 comments, I guess. Is that right? I don't know how TikTok works. I assume that's TikTok.
You're going to stack them in your backyard? Because they're huge. I don't want them in mine.
We're not putting them in your backyard, sweetheart.
Third new reason, and I never thought of it this way, control. If you're a bad girl or boy, or they or them, or they could turn your car off. Don't follow mandates? No car for you. You think they won't do it? They tried to take away people's livelihoods.
What? What is she even talking about? They tried to take away people's livelihoods. I don't know who they is. I don't know what their livelihoods are. So I'll just kind of disregard that last one. Control, sure. Connected things offer up the potential for, security risks. Of course, that's the age of the internet. I mean, I do think that there might be some sort of pushback into analog things, but the fact that the car is propelled by a battery instead of a 400 kilowatt hour combustible plastic tank, yeah, I don't think that really changes that situation much, because obviously all new cars are basically all connected and controlled and everything like that. So I do think it's really lame. I've heard about companies wanting to charge extra for like seat warmers and stuff like that. Like that is just like a software subscription for a seat warmer. Give me a break. That's nonsense out of here. Or maybe that was just a joke. But anyways, the idea of having to have a subscription for service for something that you already own, I think is ludicrous. So yeah, absolutely. I mean, if that's what she's talking about, I agree with that point there. So thanks to everyone that submitted these. If you want to help fight back against this FUD, go to bensullins.com/FUD. Also, if you're new here, consider joining, becoming a member. It really helps, especially because, some of these videos out there, they get millions and millions of views, while the truth, of course, is lagging far behind. So if you want to help be the antidote to the poison that is the algorithms pushing this nonsense, I really would love for you to join us. So that's it for this one, guys. Let me know what you think in the comments, and I'll see you back here next time.